Welcome, everyone. We're glad to see you here at our final COABE 2024 webinar session. We will be really, hopefully, having some COABE 2025 sessions next year, but this is the last one from COABE 2024. My name is Dan Logus. I'm the Director of Professional Development at the System Office, which you probably already knew that. Some of you might have already attended one webinar we did today because we had one this morning.
Exactly.
Rebecca was there. So I am going to allow Lee, the professional development distance learning specialist, to introduce our speaker today, who is the expert on AI for the state of North Carolina adult ed for the System Office.
Okay, so I guess that's me then.
Yes.
So I'm going to take a moment to introduce Kristin Erhard. We were actually first introduced to her. She was a participant in our, 2023 Professional Development Facilitator Network project. And like Dan said, she's now become our subject matter expert in all things AI for our instructors and CCR staff. So Kristin, she started teaching in adult education in 2010. She's currently the English language acquisition lead and professional development facilitator at AB Tech. Over the years, she's taught all levels of English language acquisition and has served as an academic advisor, GED ASC instructor, and curriculum developer. She's also worked as a project manager and instructional designer for educational startups, including an English language learning app and career exploration platform. So right there, you can see that Kristin, she's had a knack for tech and tech tools for learning and instruction starting really early on in her career. Kristin, she's got a Master of Arts degree in Lifelong Learning Policy and Management from University College London, a graduate certificate in teaching English in a 2-year college from East Carolina University, and a Bachelor of Arts from the University of North Carolina in Asheville. Also, a really cool, interesting piece of information about Kristin. She's had lots of experiences teaching abroad as well as studying abroad. She studied in Denmark, Spain, and Nicaragua, and the UK. She taught English in Greece and Spain, and also she taught students online in Panama, Mexico, and India. So without further ado, I am now going to let Kristin teach us and explore about some things beyond ChatGPT. So Kristin, take it away.
Great, thanks, Lee. And hello and welcome, everyone. I should have ChatGPT summarize my professional profile. It's a long one. But I'm really happy you're all here today. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to present on, I was thinking, ChatGPT has been around for over 2 years now. Most people have dipped their toe in the waters or already are using it extensively to create lesson plans and instructional materials. So I wanted to go beyond ChatGPT and show you some other platforms that can dynamize your classroom and create interactive activities and basically make your dream lessons come true. So let's see here. All right, so during this presentation, we're going to be looking at these, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 platforms, 7 platforms. So I'm going to be kind of like rolling through and take notes, I guess, on the names of the platforms if they interest you. Really, there's nothing better to do to learn how to use these platforms than to just try yourself. But it's also helpful to see demonstrations. So I'm going to be showing you demonstrations of each of these platforms and the cool stuff that you can do with them. And then I encourage you later, if you see one that you think could be a good fit, to play around with it. All right. Oh, and before we jump in, so Claude and Gemini are similar to ChatGPT. Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity are similar to ChatGPT. They are large language learning models, LLMs, and they're like chatbots. If you haven't used those before, I'll be showing you. But they have some unique features when compared to ChatGPT that you might want to take advantage of. Gamma and CuriPod are websites. They have free versions. Well, Gamma gives you like a free trial. It gives you tokens, I'll explain, but you can use it to create PowerPoint presentations, websites in a matter of minutes. And CuriPod is a platform that you can use to modify existing presentations and add interactive elements for your students to kind of follow along with you. And PiktoChart and Diffit are visually oriented AI-powered platforms to create things like infographics, charts for your visual learners, which we all are. So let's jump in. So Claude is becoming my favorite chatbot platform. I like it more right now than I do ChatGPT. And I like that it also has, it has an ethos to it. They're trying to be responsible with AI. And you can read more about that later, but it's run by a group called Anthropic, and they really are concerned with ethics and how we weave AI into our lives. One really cool feature about Claude, and I'm going to take you there right now, is that it has this thing called artifacts mode, and it allows you to create full files. It can write code, and if you are not a computer person and you have no idea about code, I share that with you. I would never have thought I would be writing, or I'm not writing it, but using code to create activities. And it will write the code for you to create activities. Let me show you what I mean. Oops. All right, so we have Claude. Claude.ai is the website. You can also just Google Claude. It will be the first result you'll get. And what you can do with Claude is create interactive learning simulations. That's unique to Claude compared to other platforms like ChatGPT. I'm going to start by showing you what the result looks like, and then I'll show you how to get there. So this was generated in a matter of minutes. It is an interactive learning activity for students who need to practice speaking at a supermarket. So you can come up with different scenarios for simulations. So that's what I put in as a simulation. I teach English language acquisition, and I've had students tell me before, like, you know, a cashier was talking to me and she said this, but I didn't know how to respond. So I thought this could be an interesting simulation for them to go through, because it's a pretty scripted scenario. So they can kind of go through here and click different answers, and then it gives feedback on that response. And then it gives, as you see, it's coming up with what might be the next natural thing that the cashier would say to you. And then you can choose a response here. And then, will that be all for today? Yes, that's all. And here's your total. How would you like to pay? So these are some scripted scenarios that they hear often, and they might not know how to respond. And this might give them more confidence to kind of go through and like, what if they say this? How do I respond? And then what are they going to say next? So, of course, the sky's the limit with coming up with simulations. Just depends on your context. But of course, for language learning, it's incredibly helpful. And this is something that you could share with your students outside of class to give them a little extra practice. So, you know, to do that, I would just take this link up here, copy it. And if you have a way to share digital links with your students by email, or perhaps a WhatsApp group or some other platform, you could just drop it in there. So I like to do that with my students because homework is not a part of the class, and some students want extra practice out of class. And it's an easy way to like contextualize what you did in class and give them an opportunity to practice outside of class. And sometimes I think I'm just throwing links into the abyss, but I have had many students like tell me like, oh, I looked at the link, or I practiced the link you sent and I did it during my lunch break. And wow, you're using your like break time to do this? Like, I'll give you some more. So let's see how we create this. So to create this, you're going to put in a prompt and create a simulation, interactive digital simulation. I try to specify interactive, digital, and like use as many descriptive words as you want of what it is that you're imagining, even if you're not sure exactly what you're imagining, but specifying digital helps to skip the step of having to ask Claude to go back and make it digital. And then specify it. It's always the who, what, when, where, why. So answer your WH questions in your prompt to the fullest extent possible to get the most tailored responses possible. So create an interactive digital simulation for my high intermediate adult English language learners about how to, this is where I was going to crowdsource, let's see, how to talk to a nurse at a wellness visit. And it's creating the artifact now. The artifact is the simulation. And as you see on the side, it's writing the code. And this is where, you know, like I said, a couple of years ago, this would have been well beyond anything I could possibly come up with. But it writes the code for the activity and it creates the activity. So it's a little, you have to have a little patience, meaning you have to wait like 30 seconds to a minute. But it will generate an activity like the one I just showed you. And it's kind of ridiculous to me now that like waiting 30 seconds to a minute feels like a long time. And then of course, while we're waiting for this, we might open it and we might notice some things about it that we want to change. You can always give that feedback to Claude and say like, I really like this aspect of the activity, expand that part and eliminate this section of the activity. You know, like you can give it verbatim the constructive feedback to get closer to what you think your students would most benefit from. Yeah. I'm hesitant to close the window and come back because sometimes it pauses, which is also important to note. Like when it's making these elaborate activities, it's best to keep your computer, the web page open to Claude. I've noticed if I switch between tabs, it kind of takes a break and stops.
While we're waiting, there's actually a question in the chat, Kristin, if you want to address that. I feel like this might be a good moment. We can let the chat bot continue to generate. So I'm sorry, I do not know how to pronounce your name, but it's a very beautiful and interesting spelling of Genja. So they asked, do students need, say it again?
Evgenia. Evgenia. G silent.
Okay.
Evgenia.
Okay, thank you. So you're asking, do students need to create an account to use Claude? Is it free? And when you say you drop the link for students to practice, will they get full access to the simulation with the opportunities to select the responses?
Great question. Yes, no, your students do not need an account to Claude. You can share it with anyone, and it is free. Claude is free, of course, as with all these platforms, they have paid versions too, but you can do it with the free version. And although sometimes it's a little more glitchy, like it's not as reliable, but you can do it. It might be like, ooh, like check back at 3 o'clock or something, you know, it might tell you like you've hit your limit for your inquiries today or something like that, but you can create the simulations with the free version of Claude. And did I answer, what was the last part of your question?
The last part was that the students, would they have full access with that simulation if they are using the free version?
Yep, they'll have full access. Great question. So all the platforms I'm showing you today have free versions, and you can do all the things I'm showing you today on the free versions. But like I said, as you may have encountered, if you already use other platforms like ChatGPT, there are times of day where it gets really busy and it might give you a message to try back later if you don't have a paid subscription. But yes, you don't have to pay anything to do use any of the platforms I'm going to show you today. And your students don't need accounts to any of these platforms to share what you create with them. So notice here, it created the simulation on the side. So I'll type in my name. Let's start the simulation. It comes up with this. Could you please confirm your name and date of birth for me? And then they would choose the correct answer. But if they choose the incorrect answer, it gives feedback. I'll show you that in the next one. Thanks for confirming. First, I need to check your vital signs. I'm going to take your temperature, blood pressure, and pulse. Is that okay? And you can choose a response here. No, I don't want that. And it gives you some feedback. Like, that's okay to say, but so it's interesting because it gives you all of these different possibilities that you might want to respond yes or no, and then it's going to give you feedback on how you would respond in that way, and then even some context. So that it has more to it, but for the sake of time, I'm going to move on. But to share this with students, what I would do is go to publish, and it says it's accessible to anyone on the internet if I publish it. So I'm going to publish and copy the link. And then right down here, you'll notice it says copy link. So that's what I would share by email with students or in a WhatsApp group or some other way to digitally share sources. So that's something definitely worth playing around with if you have any interest in that. You can come up with all sorts of different simulations. Sky's the limit. And could be really good for critical thinking too, you know, where you put in like a description of a scenario, like how would you respond to this, or what would you say in this situation? And it could also be used for training. All right, so I'll show you one other version of it that I drafted. Let's see. So for example, here is nursing assistant, and this could be an excellent application, especially for IEL CE programs. I know at my community college at AB Tech, we have a machining program, and we have other jumpstart programs to prepare people for careers. It's very specialized information, and oftentimes we don't have like a seasoned veteran of machining teaching the course. It's an English language teacher, but this could be a way for them to learn the language and the context to help train the English language learners for those programs. So yeah, kind of cool. So it gives like possible responses. It gives some feedback on those responses. Like I said, I'll just drop this one into the chat along with the other one in case you guys want to explore what those create a little more. And here's the supermarket scenario. Those in the chat for you. Okay, so simulations, pretty cool, pretty mind-blowing. A lot of different variations to do there.
Well, I've actually got a question myself, if I can ask it, Kristin. I'm just curious for the feedback in particular. Can you, I guess through the programming part of it, can you direct Claude to make the feedback like simpler, differentiated? Can you? Okay, so all those types of corrections, once you've assessed the final product, if you feel it's too complicated for your students, you can in fact simplify the language that's used in the simulation. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so play around with it, yeah, and give it a try. But like I said, the important part to take note of is that when you're specifying this, use those words: interactive, digital, simulation. So yeah, if you're trying to create digital resources, specify that you want it to be digital. Otherwise, if you're like create exercises on the simple past, it's gonna just give you the typed version. And if you want it to be digitized, then ask for the digital version. All right, so moving on. So Perplexity is also similar to Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini Copilot. It's probably, I think it's about like number 5 in popularity. So the benefits of Perplexity, and I'll take you there, are that it also has more academic integrity built into it, into like how, the creators of Perplexity are concerned with trying to keep that a part of what AI is generating. And of course, we're entering this whole new era where many things are being thrown into question due to AI, including academic research integrity. But what I like about this is that you can search just academic articles. So again, it works like ChatGPT. You can put in any prompt here. It will give you output, play around if you haven't used it before. It's also free version. But you can, right here, if you click this globe icon, you can search just academic papers. And you can turn off, like you can choose where you're searching for the information. Whereas the other platforms are just doing a broad search of all of these sources, of the web, of academic papers, of social, like blog posts and things like that. So you're going to get a lot of misinformation, possibly, if you're not just searching through academic sources. So, whoops, let's get out of here. Oopsie, there we go. All right, so I might like search for something like, actually, I'm gonna crowdsource from you all because I'm drawing a blank at the moment. Give me something. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Give me a topic to research. Type something in the chat. All right, transformative learning theory. Thank you, Brian Wilson, or Bran Wilson. All right. Say the most up-to-date research on transformative learning theory in the context of, and then we'll just add a little more, incarcerated learners and math education. Oh, whoops, I clicked the wrong button. Let's see what it does here. And as you see, it also gives sources, which I really love, that you can check the sources and go back and be like, that actually isn't something I would trust. So you can at least see where it's sourcing the information from. So depending on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to research, if you're trying to research grants, if you're trying to research something else, this is one way you can sort that information. I'm going to go back though, because I clicked just search and not research. Research, transformative learning theory. And you'll notice down here, this time I toggled over to research. The other one was just search, but let's compare the difference. And of course, these, you might use Perplexity for research for things beyond, adult education. Perhaps, you're researching something you're personally interested in. So it's just a way to kind of save you time. It's going to find different sources for you, and then you can use your critical eye to decide which sources you want to seek further information from. And again, as we're waiting, I can answer any questions if there are any.
So far, I think we're good. Karen asked when we were on Claude, similar to my question about rewriting the simulations, but specific to a grade level for reading. And I believe that the answer is the same, but I thought I would just pose it to you one more time to make sure that is accurate. that we can request Claude to rewrite those simulations based on grade level for reading.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And I encourage all of you, if you're going to experiment with this, like use exactly the language that you're thinking in your head, like, oh, I need that to be simpler, or I need that to be at a like 5th grade reading level. And you can use that language to say like, make that simpler, or write that at a 5th grade reading level, or, you know, make that include more analysis, something like that. So whatever it is that you're thinking and wishing it could produce, it never hurts to ask. And most of the time when you specify, it can do a better job. And yes, you can align it to the career and college readiness standards. Karen Neal just put that in the chat. However, don't ask, this is my recommendation, is don't ask ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity to just do that, because it actually kind of, it comes up with invented standards, I've noticed, where I've like tried to backwards, like take a lesson plan and ask it to connect it to North Carolina College and Career Readiness Standards. And it comes up with what at first seems plausible. It even uses like the numbers like S.1.2. But then I look actually at the real document and they were invented. So instead, my recommendation would be, if you're trying to align with standards, is use the use the content standards, which you can find, just by searching on Google for the North Carolina College and Career Readiness Standards. And then you'll find this PDF and find the specific standards that you're trying to use and copy the actual verbatim here, just like I'm showing you. So what I would do is like, I would find the standard that I want to make a simulation correspond with, and I'd copy that, and then I would paste that into Claude and say like, create a simulation according to this standard. All right, and let's see how Perplexity is doing over here. There we go. All right, it finished its resource search, and as you saw, it took longer, which it should, because it's searching a lot of different content. But it came up with this research on transformative learning theory. And from what I can recall, when I learned about it myself, just at a quick glance, it looks decent. But again, I'm kind of wary, I am fully wary of encouraging anyone to do research through AI as the sole source. It might be a starting point for you to get an idea of something, but there's nothing like, and we all know this as educators, going through that process of looking at sources, reading the sources, thinking about the sources, analyzing, synthesizing, and handing all of that over to AI is, in my opinion, very dangerous intellectually, because are you really going to go through here and source everything? But again, what I like about Perplexity is it does give you the source of where it said, when it's saying something, it tells you where it got it from. And then you can be the arbiter of whether that's a good source or not. All right, any questions on Perplexity before we move on?
Not questions, but we do have a comment from Penelope, who I know is a CCR director. So her perspective is about, hirees and perhaps doing research. Is this person a good hire based on credentials and news out there on the internet? So she's viewing that through that lens.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've heard people talk about like, oh, if you ask ChatGPT or like an AI chatbot about yourself, it knows all this stuff. Maybe because I'm scared to find out what it knows about me, I've never asked myself. But yeah, because Perplexity will provide the sources of its information, that does give you the opportunity to look and check and see like, oh, is that the same Kristin Erhard, or is that the Kristin Erhard in Pennsylvania? Because I don't want anyone thinking I'm a professional basketball player. I'm not, but there is a Kristin Erhard who is. All right. But yeah, great idea. Yeah. So yeah, play around with it. But yeah, like I said, check the sources because it provides you with them, which is unique. The next platform, Gemini, which used to be called Bard. It's Google's AI platform. It has some unique features beyond ChatGPT as well. And what I like and have learned is that it can create these very like personalized interactive learning activities, digital again, that I will show you what they look like. Okay. This. Well, I'll first show you an example. One moment. Okay, so it's called micro-learning, meaning there might be like, you do a whole lesson on something, but you notice there's like, oh, this little aspect of the lesson needs reinforcement or needs more scaffolding. And so learners need more support with this. So it can kind of like, you can pull out and target different skills specifically. And again, I like this to be able to share with students digitally, because it's like goes beyond the classroom, and some students, you know, might want to go home and practice a little more with a concept. So I open this up. This is what it creates. And again, in a moment, I'll show you how to create this, but it creates these modules that like this one, the prompt was create an interactive digital learning module on the using simple past and past continuous for my low advanced English language learners. So again, the who, what, where, be specific, even specify adult, because it might end up too childish otherwise. But it gives this explanation. And then down here, you'll see it created an activity. So after students read about it, they could choose the correct answer here. And then, so it gives you these different ways to select the answer. It's just a little extra. They can type in sentences here, do that. It goes on to another module. So I'll show you how to create that. Okay. And this one, actually, I might not put the prompt in because, again, it takes a couple minutes for it to generate the activity, to write the code and make the activity. And we're a little pressed for time with all the stuff I want to show you, but here was the prompt that I put in. Write the code and create an interactive digital activity for a personalized micro-learning module on using the simple past and past continuous together and separately for high intermediate English language learner adults. So you can see I'm a pretty long-winded person, but in the context of AI, all the better, because it's giving, the more context you give, the more tailored it will be. So from that prompt, it took several minutes, but it created this activity. And then, you know, when you sort this, it has sorting activities. It's not letting me click here though. Let's go back. Okay, here we go. So it gives, as you see on the side, an explanation, examples, just like a worksheet, but it's digitized. And then here you would drag and drop into the correct tense. And to share this with your students, it's called Canvas, by the way, on Gemini. You click share and it says share Canvas, and then you can copy the link, and then your students would have access to that. So I'm going to add that to our chat for you to take a look at. And sometimes it is glitchy, so it might take a couple runs. I don't know, earlier I clicked through it and it was all working. Right now it seems to kind of have stopped at this page, but you might, if you're generating something and it has any glitches, again, give that feedback to Gemini, like come back over here to the chat box and say like this part of the activity isn't working, and then it will immediately correct it as your personal assistant. So that's an example. And then here is another example of a micro-learning module created on Gemini. I'll give you one more example. So these could be particularly useful, especially if you're creating, if you have blended classes and part of your class is online, you can create, like you can put these on Moodle. So it doesn't take any instructional technology expertise, really. As you see, you just have to be willing to play around and have a little patience with it, and try, experiment. So I'm going to show you then how to create that. Let's come back. I got so many tabs open right now. Let's start something new. So I'm going to say, write the code, create and someone, I'm going to crowdsource again. So somebody give me a topic to create a micro learning module about. You can type it in the chat. And any recommendations in the chat? A topic? Differences in AI tools. Great, thank you. I'm going to change it then, my audience then, for adult educators about differences in AI tools. All right, let's see. And it's going to write the chat. And then, oh, I forgot an essential piece, and I'm glad I remembered because you all might have encountered this later. Right here, it says generate code to prototype with this canvas, and you can click try now, or when you hit it, when you put in the prompt, you select canvas at the bottom, and you'll notice when I toggle over canvas, it says create docs and code. So I'm going to click try now. All right, export to collab. At the bottom, open collab. And we may have run into some kind of error here, which is also good for you to see, because it's not all always just easy breezy. There's times where it's like it does it, and sometimes it doesn't do it, and it can be a little like trial and error with things. Let me see. I'm gonna just try that again with a new one. Again. So there's the prompt again, and then I'm going to specify make it ready to use. And then I'm going to click canvas here at the bottom. Let's see if it does it this time. And this might be one that takes a little while to generate because we're kind of pressed for time. I'm going to move on and come back here and see how it does, if it generates it for us. So two more platforms. These are for visual learners, PiktoChart and Diffit. So I'm going to show you PiktoChart first. Again, there's a free version of this. So PiktoChart, when you're logged in, you'll see this page here. And you can choose between all these different types. You can create newsletters. It's pretty amazing. You can type in information about your program and what's happened, and it can kind of be like a rambling paragraph, and it will organize it into a newsletter format with the writing done, and then you can go back and edit and tailor it to your context. So if you like sending out newsletters or you have to, that can be a great assistant. It can make comparisons, charts. So explore all these different features of it. I'm going to show you the infographic feature right here, but it also will make social media posts and presentations and other documents. So I'm going to have it make an infographic about when to use commas. And the free version gives you 50 tokens, so you can use it 50 times before it's going to ask you to pay. So that is a caveat, but also, you know, you can see how you like it in the meantime. And then what it does is it gives kind of templates on the side, as you see here, and you can choose kind of the style of the template that you want to use. And then you can look through what it came up with. And again, you don't have to rely on AI to come up with the comma rules. Maybe you already have a document about comma rules, and then you could copy and paste that into the input before you ask it to generate. So I took a shortcut there and I just said when to use commas, but even looking at this, I'm seeing that it left out some pretty important uses. But it formatted it in a more visually appealing way, and it might be something that I could incorporate back into a PowerPoint or print or something. So it's just kind of what I like about this is I really appreciate aesthetics. I appreciate visual design, but I never have time for it as a teacher because I'm just like, it's a lot of, lots of my materials are text heavy. And this will, you know, organize it in a way that might help your learners sort out, depending on what the topic is, the information. And yes, Alice asked if you can use your own photos. You absolutely can. And thank you for bringing that up, because that's also a great thing that I like to do is you click on right here, change image, and then it's going to come up with another generated AI image here. So click cancel actually. If you want it to generate a different AI image, you can, but again, my opinion, but I don't like to use AI generated images. There you can go on Google Images and find images that are real and relevant for your context. So I'd encourage you to do that instead. You can add images. If you click here, I'm going to go save and edit infographic. And this is where I can edit and change it. So what it did right there was it just showed me a preview of what it would look like in that format. And here's where, to answer your question, Alice, you can click here and you can remove the photo. So you come here and click that, and then I could come over here and go to photos, and I could search for commas, see what comes up. Apparently it's related to a butterfly or something. We'll do something else. How about writing? So I might use this image and then insert it there. And again, you can just play around with different features, and it's just worth experimenting, playing on your own time. Any other questions about PiktoChart before we move on?
I do have a question regarding the credits, actually, because I think I encountered it with that other Gamma, where you create the presentations. Is a credit counted for like also these edits when you make them in the infographic, or no?
No, just
Okay.
the generation of it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Edit
Thank
as
you.
much as you want. And then you can download it. But yes, that's also something where it's limited. I've used up my downloads. But yeah, the free trial version, if it's something that you really love and see that it has a real use for it, maybe it's something that you invest in, but it gives you a fair amount of credits to experiment from the free trial. And Diffit is another platform I'm going to show you. Let's see here. Where are we? So many things open. So Diffit, you can take any different material and put it in and adjust. It differentiates material. So I'll show you what that does. Let's say I'm going to take this video here, The Power of Perseverance, about growth mindset. And I'm going to put that YouTube video, it's a TED Talk that I use in my class. I'm going to put it in here. And then I'm going to customize, I'm going to make it, let's say I'm using it with English language learners. I'm going to do it at a 3rd grade level. And then I'm going to ask it to generate resources. And oh, Alice, also, you can use your own photos on PiktoChart. You just have to upload them to the site before you insert them in, but If you play around with that, you'll see that option. All right, so it took this YouTube video and it created an adapted reading passage about it. So it super simplified it to a 3rd grade reading level. It provided a summary, it pulled out some key vocabulary, came up with multiple choice questions, short answers, open-ended prompts. So it basically did all this stuff at once. And yes, you can do all of these things as individual commands on ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, but then it's your job then to keep prompting and putting it in and like tailoring. What I like about Diffit is it does it all at once as a whole lesson based on a video or based on whatever it is that you're prompting it to do. So another cool thing that I like about it is it creates graphic organizers. So if on the right side over here, I can click over here and it will come up with a bubble map graphic organizer on the video. And then, some prompts of activities to do. So there's limitless possibilities then with this of like, just again, differentiating rather than just like showing a video and doing a worksheet. It's like they could organize ideas, they could do key vocabulary in this way. So you can click on the side and see all of these different materials that it comes up with. Yeah, read and take notes, answer and explain. So some cool stuff to play with here in terms of graphic organizers especially. All right, I still have a couple more to show you. I know I was cramming it in, and we should check back on Gemini and see how it's doing with its task.
Lisa asks if Diffit has tokens and limited use, just like with PiktoChart.
Oh, I don't see the tokens. I think it's just a free version, and the paid version probably has more advanced features. One thing though, I did notice when you sign up for Diffit, and some of these websites, they'll ask you what school you're at. A lot of these websites are tailored to like K-12 education. So if you put in a community college, if it has like a preset list, it won't appear. So click when you're signing up, when it prompts you like that, click the text below that says, I don't see my school, or it's not listed or something. Some teachers I've shown this to have kind of gotten stuck on that step. All right, so that's PiktoChart and Diffit. And the last two I want to show you are Gamma and CurryPod. So Gamma, again, has a free version, but it gives you tokens, but you can use it quite a bit before you run out. And it creates PowerPoints and websites. So I'll show you that. Okay. So when you're logged into Gamma, once you create an account, you can come up here and click Create New AI and you can use it in a variety of ways. You can paste in text and create a PowerPoint or a presentation from that, generate from just a few prompts you put in, or you can import an existing PowerPoint that you have and ask it to basically like enhance it. So this could be a good tool to use, like if you have a PowerPoint you've been using for a while and you just kind of want to freshen it up or make it more dynamic or something. So you could use your own content as well. What I'm going to show you, I'll show you how to create from scratch, but pasting in. This is one where I like to kind of go between platforms. So I'm going to come over to ChatGPT. You could also use Claude, Copilot, Gemini for this, but create a presentation outline of how to use the simple, or how about recorded speech for my adult English language learners, and include a simple explanation, chart, and practice exercises. And again, I'm going through this quickly, but in reality, I'm reading this carefully to see, like, is that what I want in my presentation? You know, it gives me some structure to start with, but I oftentimes am taking it, putting it over into a Word doc and editing as I see fit before I hand it over to Gamma. But for the sake of time right now, I'm just going to take what it came up with here and copy paste. I like to highlight copy paste, but you can also use the copy at the bottom and come back to Gamma, paste that in. And at the bottom here, it asks what kind of, what I'd like to create with content. I'm going to ask it to create a presentation, but I'll later also show you the web page it comes up with. And it goes through here and it puts it into slides. I'm going to click continue. And again, you could edit there as needed, or and then here you choose the style of the template that you want to use. Let's do this one. And then you click, it will give you a preview over here of what it might look like. And then click generate. And again, I'm not, because of time, I just took what ChatGPT had for an outline, but you can create your own outlines, or, you know, do a combination, always like editing, looking carefully, making sure the context is what you're looking for. So it comes up with this presentation. And if I come over here, I can choose present. And go through the presentation that way. I'm going to show you the other feature with Gamma that I love. Here's another example of reported speech that it generated with a different outline I used. But notice this, there's, again, I don't like using AI generated images because it's nonsense. Like, do you see this? That's not even the Roman alphabet. I don't even know what alphabet that is. So there are going to be things like where the images that it plops in are just ridiculous. So take the time to edit, go to Google Images. You can do that with Gamma as well. So if you're in Gamma, you can click through here and change images and change the content as you need. But let me show you. I'm going to go to create new again, and let's say I want to, I'm going to use the generate version this time. Create a website for, I'm going to make it up, Asheville's Community College HSE School Equivalency Program. This would be one, of course, where it'd be better for you to like use the other mode rather than generate, but put in your own real information, like we did with the outline, and how students can enroll in class offerings. And we'll just do that for now. I'm going to do generate out. I'm going to go to web page here, generate outline. And it comes up, this is again still the draft, it hasn't made the website yet, but it comes up, and this is where I could go in and edit and change what it came up with, add your own information. Here you choose the style, and then generate. Oh, and I forgot to change the image source, but you can change it so it's just web images, which I would have otherwise done, but I clicked too soon. So as you see, it is creating a website in a matter of seconds. Of course, again, you have to go in and change the information as you see fit, but For those of us who don't have a background in IT or coding or graphic design, it does a pretty decent job of creating something. It's a landing page. And to take this further, you know, once this was edited and was what I was looking for and had the information I needed, I could go to publish. And then view site. Here's the website. And then I'm going to copy and paste that link. I'll put it in the chat for you guys to check out. And I could take this and even take it and put in QR code generator. There's a number of free ones, but like for instance, with Adobe, I could take that link to that website, put in the website here, generate a QR code, take that QR code and put it on printed materials around the school. So if students want to learn more about a program, they can scan the QR code and they would go directly to that website to get more information. So those are just a few hacks to get a little more tech savvy with your department. The last thing, oh no, there's only 3 minutes, but that's okay. The last thing I wanted to show you is CurryPod, and CurryPod dynamizes presentations. So again, you can take an existing presentation, and I'm just going to give you a real quick taste of what this is like, but well, actually, it will take maybe a little too long. Let's go to preview. So I took this presentation that I'm giving you today and put it in CurryPod to see what it would come up with. Whoops. Start now. So actually, give it a shot. You can always look at it after this session ends in 2 minutes, but scan this QR code with your phone. So just open the camera on your phone and you'll see a little link pop up. Click that link. And then you come up with a name. You can change your name later to your real name, but it gives you a moniker. And once you're in on your phone, you'll notice it says, great, you're in. And it gives you your nickname. I'm Curious Fish. So that can be helpful with students too, because it's going to have some like gamified elements and they can stay anonymous if they want to. At the bottom on your phone, you'll notice that it has focus and it has slides mode. If you click slides, you're going to see, I'm going to start this presentation right now, but I'm going to click start at the bottom. Since I'm the teacher or facilitator, I click start. And now on your phone, you see the presentation and you'll only see the next slide when I advance. So I just advanced, now you see the next slide. As I go forward, that was the part that I created, but now CurryPod, the website, incorporated this slide into it. So what I'm going to do is in the bottom right of my screen, I see start activity. I'm going to click that, and now you all can vote. So take a moment and vote. Which AI tool are you most interested in learning more about? And to answer this question, you have to click at the bottom to focus mode. So give it a try. So make sure again that you clicked focus mode and then you'll see the options there and you vote. And the activity. Cool. All right. So as you see, it gave me some like real-time live feedback about what you all are interested in. I guess I should have done this at the beginning of the presentation. But it's cool because it does that. It automatically took my presentation and it came up with dynamic, interactive questions and activities. So this next activity, if I press start, you're going to see again on your phone. How might you use Claude to create a learning simulation for a subject you're interested in? And this is where you would type your answer. And I'm going to end that activity. Cool. And then there's 6 answers. I'm going to click at the bottom again. You can't see this on my screen, or maybe actually you can. It says give feedback. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to see what everyone typed in, and everyone else can see it too. So it's a pretty cool tool to, like, instead of the like blah, blah, blah presentation, it actually keeps students on their toes. It's like, ooh, you didn't expect this, but now you have to answer a question about the previous slide, or you have to like give your input. It has some slides even that include drawing, which I really love. It's like, draw a representation of this vocabulary word or something like that. So there's limitless possibilities with how you might creatively use CuriePod. And again, it's free. That I made it through, and it's 3:01, and I talked your ears off.
So feel free if you guys need to leave. But yeah, I just wanted to wrap this up. So Kristin, there were a couple questions related to Gamma. Again, feel free if you need to leave at this moment. One had to do with, I guess, Alice has eagle eyes. She noticed a typo in the presentation. So how can you edit the presentations that Gamma creates? And I believe you can do that in Gamma once the presentation is generated, all the text and images and everything else. I've used Gamma before. And then also for the web pages that are created, I believe it was Gamma that was creating the web pages, right? Or now I'm going to get all the tools.
Gamma creates web pages.
Right. And so can we actually plot those into a certain website that we already have live, or do they have to be housed in Gamma?
That is a good question. I am not sure. I think they are. I think they're just automatically housed with Gamma or associated with Gamma, but I honestly don't know. So you might experiment with that and see.
And maybe there's a way to access the code, just like with the other tools, to then place it onto your website that you've created. So yeah, just to wrap this up, thank you so much, Kristin, for closing out the COABE 2024 webinar series. If you guys were not able to attend some of the sessions and you're interested in watching any of the other sessions that we ran for this series, I'm plopping in the chat our professional development archives. We store all of the recordings for these webinars, including this one that occurred today that will be uploaded to the website. And I also wanted to unabashedly advertise the AI Bootcamp that Kristin Erhard is the facilitator of. We've run it twice for this programmatic year, once in the fall, second in the spring. They have been fantastic. We're getting awesome feedback from our participants, and we are planning on running that again in the 2025 to 2026 programmatic year. So I plopped into the chat the webpage on our NC Title II for our credentialing courses and this boot camp. It is not, our agenda for 2025 to 2026 is not yet live, but once we finalize that, we will put it on the instructor credentialing page, and you can sign up for the AI Bootcamp for fall 2025. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Kristin, again for closing us out. That was fantastic. And yeah, we'll be seeing you all hopefully sometime soon. Take care.
Thanks everyone for coming, and reach out to me if you have questions. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye.